Mga kalakbay, dito pa rin po ito sa Chicago.
Bridges, and please do not try and stick things in the bridges. I know it's very tempting, but these bridges are dangerous, so please avoid them. And some of you might have met my best friend here over in the blue shirt here. His name's Dave. He's perfect in every way. He's going to teach you everything there is to know about the city of Chicago, its history, and its architecture. He's going to be your live tour guide. And out of respect for him and the people around you who also paid to take his tour, we ask that you keep all conversations on the top deck to an absolute minimum. If you're sitting up here thinking, should I talk during this tour?
Other than a textbook, I'm sure you can tell I'm a nerd. I love a good textbook. Textbooks aren't for everyone. Today, literal beauty will be our textbooks. We'll decode these buildings. You will see some absolute beauty, some picturesque, just drop-dead gorgeous beauty. And more than anything, listen, we're going to have a good time. So let me get a sense of the energy in the boat. Who's ready for a boat tour? I will bottle that up and throw it right back to you. I promise. Let's jump right in. Take a look at our first masterpiece on this architectural safari, the iconic Wrigley Building. You are looking at 6 different shades of white that get lighter as you make your way up. 1921, the building on the left. 1924, the building on the right. 250,000 hand-glazed terracotta tiles in a style called Spanish Revival. Spanish Revival style. Now, friends, the word you're going to hear in this tour more than any other word is the word why. Why, Dave? Why Spanish Revival? In Chicago in the early 1920s, in the early 20s, Chicago didn't really have our sense of architectural beauty yet. So what do? The same thing we do with fashion, with culture, with food. We steal from Europe. That clock tower modeled after a cathedral in Seville. Food recommendation number 1, on the lower level of the Wrigley Building, 40 steps from the dock, there's a Lou Malnati's Pizzeria. Do not leave Chicago until you've had deep dish. I love it without ever going outside. Perfect for COVID, right? Ahead of his time. Hey, over to the left is one of my favorite things about the city. This is the Riverwalk. It's a $112 million project to everyone. More on that later. Hey, take a look over to the left at 77 West Wacker. If your eyes follow this building all the way to the top, this glass and granite building, you'll see what looks like a Greek temple at the very top. Well, this is built in a style known as neoclassic. It's where you take something classic, like the Parthenon, and you remake it using modern materials and newer proportions. The architect of 77 West Wacker is Ricardo Bofill. From Barcelona, he's our only international architect that we will see along the river. So let me quickly get back to that riverfront. I love this about Chicago. It's my favorite thing about the city. Listen, not everyone can afford to live in a Trump Tower penthouse or work at these buildings, but the riverfront and the lakefront, the most gorgeous Chicago real estate, that's our playground in this city. It's open to everyone. We're going to see people hanging out right here, watching the river go by. It's all open to everyone. If you want to go to a beach in Chicago, won't cost you a nickel. It's the city's playground. Optimism and opulence and machine-made mass production. You have Model Ts that are rolling off the assembly line in Detroit. You have building materials rolling out the assembly line for buildings here in Chicago. See those Pez dispenser looking heads right there? It always makes my 7-year-old daughter sad when I tell her there's no candy in there, there's no Pez in there. Those are the great buyers who bought and sold the merchandise mart. All right, eyes up, cameras up, amazing photo op. We are coming into Wolf Point. 360 degrees of pure Chicago amazing, where the 3 branches of the river come together. This is an incredible Chicago photo op. So much to break down at Wolf Point, so I might go kind of quick. Stay with me. Over to the left, sharp left. We have the New Veen building, another phenomenal example of contextualism. Let's break it down. First, notice how the building curves with the river, right? Notice 2 different colors. The blue matches the sky, the green matches the river, plus it's reflective, contextualism. Now, Chicagoans love this building, not only because it looks amazing, because that's the building where Ferris Bueller's dad worked in that classic movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller. You know, Chicago is so many things. We are a movie set. We're going to talk a lot about movies that were filmed right here in Chicago. Hey, take a look at that building directly in front of us. You know, there's so much to talk about with this building, but Chicagoans affectionately call it the Hot Pocket Building. Kind of looks like a Hot Pocket, right? A Hot Pocket box. Now, the arch right there is curved because it's symbolic of the caissons having to go around the train. See those black circles in the plaza? That's the vent for this. It's been a lot of questionable 90s films. You know, Chicagoans, I should say, this building is built in a style called brutalism. Brutalism. For the very tumultuous late 1960s. If you see this building, the only way it will look familiar to you is if you've seen like very morally serious buildings like university libraries, prisons, courthouses. Where I went to college, the university library looked exactly like that, thick exposed concrete to you. And you're about to get a backdrop with the sunset that's really, really, really pretty. So we'll be back at the dock in about 10 minutes. I'll put the mic down and walk around. If there's any last minute questions I can help you with, last chance to go see Sam downstairs and get one more drink. And I'll be back on the mic in just a bit.
Oh, look, I'm out.
This is a really cool opportunity. I know I just said you guys got 3 minute break for me. If you look right in front of you, that's called the lottery. Right here in Chicago. It gives me goosebumps every time I say it. I got 2 little girls. Hopefully they change the world just like Jeannie Gang did. You know, Chicago has a lot of nicknames. We talked about why we're called the second city. We're also called the Windy City. Now that's not only because it's windy. We're also called the Windy City because when our politicians went to Washington to try to get the World's Fair here, they were talking about how great Chicago is. Oh my God, so we get a chance to see just exactly how that works. That's called the lot. Really, really great. Alright, we are now in another visual part of the tour. I am holding in my left hand, and I'm happy I am, the Chicago flag, the very little Chicago flag. You know, I used to rely on the wind to be blowing, but happy I brought this. You can't leave Chicago until you have the stripes on our Chicago flag. I should say each of those stripes is for a different side of our city. We have a north side, we have a south side, and we have a west side. We don't have an east side. The east side is the left. 2 blue stripes, and I hope that's going to work for you. But listen, more than anything, selfishly, I hope the love I have for this city, my city, I hope that rubbed off on you just a little bit. You know, they say when you leave Chicago,
Oh my, oh.